Welcome back to the Time of Your Life with me, Ethel Rasmussen. We turn now to a difficult yet important topic concerning older adults in Baltimore County and across the nation. June 15th marks World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Joining us now is Lynn McCamie, BCDA Ombudsman Manager, to inform us about what elder abuse looks like, how it is prevented, and what our viewers can do to further promote awareness of this important topic. Lynn, it's a pleasure to have you on the show to discuss this critical issue.
Thank you so much for having me here today. You're absolutely right. This is a critical issue, and this is an opportunity for communities around the globe to raise awareness about Elder Abuse Day.
Lynn, first and foremost, could you please explain to our viewers what services the Ombudsman program provides?
I would gladly love to share that ombudsmen are advocates for residents who live in long term care settings. Our main goal is to make sure that residents' rights are being abided by and that residents do feel safe and have a high quality of life in the facility.
When it comes to elder abuse, are there specific risk factors that cause an individual to become more vulnerable to abuse?
There are definitely specific risk factors. We want to make sure that older adults know what their rights are when they are in the long term care facility, know what type of care they should be receiving, how staff should be interacting with them, and really who can they reach out to who will be able to help solve their issues or make sure that if safety is a question, how we put that back on the table correctly.
Who abuses older adults? Are they strangers, family members, peers? What would you say?
So it can be all of the above, but believe it or not, it's really people that are closest to them in their inner circle that may take advantage of those that are what we might consider vulnerable or older adults that maybe need a little extra guidance or a little extra help. In that instance, people who they trust tend to be the ones who take advantage of their kindness.
Lynn, could you please explain to our viewers some of the forms of elder abuse could take? Of course, when we think of abuse, we first think of physical harm, but this problem can manifest in many different ways, correct?
That is correct. There are probably five or six major strains of elder abuse as we know it. There's physical, there's sexual, there's financial or scams. There could be psychological or undue influence where someone is really trying to garner their trust and lead them astray. There could be neglect or even self neglect.
Now that we have a better understanding of what elder abuse is and the various forms it can take, what are some signs of elder abuse our viewers should be on the lookout for?
So I'm glad that you asked me that. If there are things that people can look at and say, I wonder if that's happening or something unsafe for that older adult, some of those physical signs could be bruising, bumps. Some of the non physical signs could be that the individual maybe shies away, doesn't want to be involved, keeps themselves isolated. Another sign could be mail is piling up, and you know that the individual is home, but they're not coming out to actually take advantage of what's in their mailbox or pick up their mail, I should say. There could be someone stealing their identity. So that means the older adult loses an opportunity to engage as themselves because someone else is representing for them.
If our viewers encounter an instance of what they believe to be elder abuse, who should they contact?
So, if the individual lives out in the community, they probably would be reaching out to the Department of Social Services, the Adult Protective Services unit. They bear the burden to ensure that anybody's safety who lives in the community can be looked at and see if they would be considered a vulnerable adult. If this is someone that lives in a long term care facility, like a nursing home or an assisted living, they might be reaching out to the Ombudsman's program first, as ombudsmen usually are first responders for those that are in nursing homes or assisted livings. Sometimes there can be a blended response to those that live in assisted living. There might be a response from Adult Protective Services, or it might be response from the Ombudsman. But either way, the opportunity to make sure safety is there can happen.
Could you please tell our viewers how they can get in touch with the Ombudsman to advocate for them in long-term care?
So they can definitely reach us through our main number, which is 410-887-4200. We also take walk-ins, believe it or not. Anybody could walk into our office, which is located, the main office in our Towson office at the Bicota Senior Center, or they can reach out to us electronically, sending an email, sending a text message, or faxing information over to our program. Our email address is ombudsman at baltimorecounty.md.gov.
Now, if our viewers are inspired by this cause and are interested in becoming an ombudsman, what would be their next steps?
Oh, that's great news to my ears. We definitely have volunteer opportunities. Our state and county website allows anybody who's interested to learn more to fill out an application, and then that would come directly to our office here in the Towson area. Our volunteer coordinator would follow up with the individual to share what does it take in order to be an ombudsman, the training, the shadowing, the online learning, and the engagement with the program throughout the year for continued education opportunities.
Now, Lynn, before we leave, are there any other actions our viewers can take to help prevent elder abuse?
I'm so glad that you asked that, because being in the community means that everybody has the opportunity to make a difference. You don't have to know what exactly is all the signs of elder abuse or what would you personally do. You just have to be willing to make that first phone call to Adult Protective Services or the Ombudsman's program, where those individuals who are trained will be able to go out and do any level of investigation and see if this is a vulnerable adult, an adult that needs some services, or if there are other options that might be available for their safety, whether it's in the community or in a long-term care setting.
Thank you, Lynn, for taking the time to join us on the show and explaining this difficult yet important subject matter for our viewers.
Thank you again for having me. And I want to invite everybody to come out to a safety day that we're having to celebrate, or highlight, I should say, the prevention and education of World Elder Abuse Day. BC Rest, which is our elder abuse coalition that has many stakeholders throughout Baltimore County on the committee, really want to help educate all older adults and anybody who's concerned about the prevention of elder abuse. So this year, for our We At celebration, we will be at the Cockeysville Senior Center on June 18th from 10 a.m. until 12, and we will have a great presentation on AI. That's the hot topic, and keeping yourself safe, recognizing when maybe it's a scam or a fraud, of how to interact with older adults through this new market of AI. So we welcome everybody. If you have any questions, please feel free to call the program at 410-887-4200. And I think I forgot to mention that all that we do is free. So even the advocacy we provide through the Ombudsman's program is free and confidential. And coming out to our Safety Day to highlight World Elder Abuse Day is free as well for everybody.
I will look forward to seeing you at World Elder Abuse Day. That's today's show. Thank you for spending your time with us. Please remember you can call the Department of Aging's information line called Maryland Access Point of Baltimore County, or MAP, at 410-887-2594 with questions pertaining to older adults and persons with disabilities. This show may also be viewed anytime on the Baltimore County government's YouTube channel at youtube.com/baltcogov, with open captioning. That brings us to the conclusion of this edition of The Time of Your Life, a National Mature Media Award winner, about the services and contemporary topics that keep you in the know. Until next time.